live. And we're live. Hello, everybody. Hey, everyone. It is a new week. It is a new month. It is a new quarter. It's newness all around. And I don't know how you're feeling about it. I'm very optimistic because I'm trying out new things this quarter, which I'm very excited about. And I hope that you are more excited than anxious. I know that for those who are in corporate organizations, it's crunch time now. You're sitting with your managers, you're sitting with your bosses, and you are discussing how your year went, what went down, whether you performed, whether you didn't. By the end of the year, you will know whether or not you are getting that bonus. It can be a lot. It can be a lot. And I don't know how you take on your year. I think I want to actually apply the same principle of looking back in review at how the year went, what I did wrong, what I did right. I know the first quarter of my year was in corporate, and these last two quarters were in entrepreneurship, and it's been a journey. It's been an experience. This is my third quarter in entrepreneurship, and I don't know, man. I don't know. We'll figure it out. We'll get it right one day soon. For those who do not know who I am, my name is Mbonane, and I am a Purpose Alignment Strategist. Basically, my mission in life is to make sure that everybody's career or everybody's profession is aligned to their purpose, because I believe therein is where we experience the fullness of joy, a really fulfilling career, an impactful career, and a career that will give us so much money that we begin to build wealth. And I'm particularly interested in doing this in the African or Black population or community, because wealth for us is a new phenomenon. Generational wealth is not a thing for us. So to be the first generation to amass wealth and leave that wealth for our children, if I can leave the world in that state, I would have done exactly what God put me on this earth for. Welcome to the Mpumi K Show. We are on episode 7. This is bizarre. It's bizarre that it's 3 weeks of consistency, and I've been loving it. I'm always thinking, what am I going to talk about? But something always comes up. Then I sit down, I put together a conversation that I believe will be impactful, a conversation that I believe will move the dial, and one that I think will actually change our lives. Yes, I've changed up, I've switched up the setting, because what I realized is that, especially on the YouTube stream, there was a glaring light that was coming out of the window, and I thought, this is tacky, I don't want this. So we're trying things out, just making sure that we get it right. I told you, it will start with these one-man show in their house, and then next thing you know, I'm in a studio and there's someone behind the camera. Next thing you know, it's a proper studio now with props and all of that. Next thing you know, I'm sitting around a studio audience, and you'll hear woo, clapping of hands and all of those things. So this is really going to be big. It's going to be amazing. But for now, this is the best we can do, and we will make the most out of it. Okay. Today's topic, and I was torn between two ideas, right? The one being the worst advice to ever give any professional, as well as, on the other hand, I thought about titling today's conversation, the biggest mistake anyone can make with their career. Either way you choose to go, the message will be the same, and I think it will be delivered impactfully, and it will give you a lot to think about. So let's get started. Remember to comment, to like, to do all of those things. I love it when we can engage. I love reading what you have to say. I love reflecting on what you have to say on the live, and seeing how everyone else is thinking, whether they agree, whether they disagree. I really love it when you comment and tell me what you're thinking as we're continuing with the conversation. Okay, let's get started. Okay, I was going to say raise your hands. If we're in a room, I was going to say raise your hand if you remember, but type down if you remember, especially if you live in South Africa. If you remember what particular event took place on the 23rd of March, 2020. I think the time must have been 7 o'clock. 23 March 2020. What do you remember? And I know with these lives, it normally takes a while for the comments to come through. There's a bit of a lag. So I'll tell you what happened. On the 23rd of March 2020, our beloved President Cyril Ramaphosa stood on a podium and went live on news channels declaring and letting us all know as South Africans that from midnight, Thursday, the 26th of March, the whole country is going on lockdown. You remember that? He stood there and I think he was sweating. If we remember correctly, he was sweating, letting us know that this disease is out of control, this virus is out of control. And if we want to contain it and make sure it doesn't spread, everyone needs to stay at home for 21 days. That's what you remember about the 21st of March, right? Let me tell you what I remember about that day. I was sitting at home. It was the evening, and normally at home we pray at 7 o'clock. I grew up doing that practice in that culture, so it was no difference. I was still staying at home back then. We're watching, my mom and I are watching, and as he broke the news, I got chills. I was like, what? 21 days, everyone not doing anything. And he stopped speaking. News channels or stations went back to normal and regular programming. My mom said, let's pray. She was praying that day. And as she was praying, I remember very vividly getting the heaviest and strongest impression of my life that said to me, quit your job. Now, hold on. The precedent is telling us that things are getting out of control. If you've got even 5 rand in your account, keep that 5 rand and keep the source of the 5 rand. But here this thing is telling me, Mpumi, quit your job. I thought, excuse me? What do you mean? But I knew what it was. Maybe let me give you some context. In 2018, it got impressed upon me, or I got inspiration of a blueprint of one discovers their purpose, aligns with her profession, and thrives in it unapologetically, right? So when I got this blueprint, the mandate for me at that time was to then follow the blueprint. The mandate was go through what all of these steps are, and then you'll get the next instruction later. And so step 1, I did what step 1 required. Step 2, step 3, step 4. I practically did everything that I had to do. The second part of this framework is now the alignment piece, right? And this piece said to me, now you've got a clear idea of what your purpose is. You've done these things. Now it's time to align it to some profession. And in 2019, so I hired coaches. I did all the work, right? To understand how I can establish this thing or how I can pursue this purpose in a way that will, number 1, serve the people attached to it, but also serve me. And of course, overall, serving God, right? And so in 2019, I went through all of those things. And at the end of 2019, November 11th, to be specific, I registered my first company, Purpose Practitioners Club. And I'm sure if you followed me for any amount of time, you know about this business, right? So 2019, I registered this company. I've got no idea what's going to happen in the next year. And quite frankly, I couldn't be bothered because I have now discovered my purpose. My life will never be the same. Then March, your president says, stay home, stay safe, don't do drugs. And I'm like, Baba, what is happening? So in that year, let me just check my notes because I don't want to miss anything. In that year, right, in that month particularly, I get this impression to leave my job. And I'm just like, okay, this is weird. The world is going crazy. The world is going bizarre because every president of every country is telling their country the same thing. The economy is going to crash because people are going to lose their jobs. It's a mess. What is the thing? But guess what? Because I got that impression and I knew exactly what it was, and I knew what it was there to do for me. I knew what was there to serve me for. What I did then was put out a piece of content and told everybody, listen, I am launching my program. And at that time in April, I signed up 6 people into my program. When I started the program, it was just one-on-ones. So between April, May, and June, I was doing this one-on-one coaching, consulting, and basically dispensing the blueprints that led me to where I was so that other people could then get to the same journey of discovering their purpose, finding a profession that's suitable for it and thriving in it, right? Getting that fulfillment that they're after, creating that impact, and making gabs of money. Okay, so that's what happens now. So instead of saying, "Oh Lord, everything is going array, I can't," I actually started implementing. I didn't know what the next month or the next year was going to look like. I was faithful to the impression that I received. And then it was only March 2023, exactly 3 years later, that I decided to follow what it was that told me to quit my job. Now, someone might be listening to this and thinking, "Oh, are you scared? Oh, what things shaky?" I wasn't scared. I think when I got that impression, I was shook because I'd never felt anything so strongly, right? But also, I was like, I haven't even started working in this thing. What do you mean I should quit my job? What do you mean I should give this thing my full attention? I just arrived. I just arrived. Give me a break. But the impression said quit your job, but only 3 years later did I do that. And I'm gonna tell you why very, very soon. So those who know that I was working at a bank before I quit my job. But here are the reasons that I stayed on these 3 years. Number one, it was because I wanted to give my business some momentum. All right, I needed to check which model works. So anyone who's followed my brand knows that when I started the program, particularly my business, I did one-on-one coaching and consulting. The second phase was taking the same framework, because now I had developed a framework. I had documented it into videos. I put workbooks together. It was now a thing that I can take people through while I just coach them through it, right? What I then did was package it into a group coaching program. And I kept iterating it and launching it several times to make sure that it works. So number one was that I needed to make sure that this framework actually works. It was my way of giving my business some momentum, so that when I make the jump, I'm not jumping into an abyss. I'm jumping into something that has been proven, something that works. I see here, Unolwazi is saying hectic. I felt the same way, but ignored it until 2021. When did you feel it, Unolwazi? Did you feel it? Let's cut it, say COVID in the year that it was announced for everyone. I'm so interested in this. And here's the funny thing about sharing stories. It's that you say something and someone's like, "Me too. I can relate. Oh my gosh." And you realize that we are so much more connected than we thought. And we have so much value to share and give with each other than if we just keep quiet and keep our things to ourselves. But that's not the point of what I'm sharing. The second reason why I stayed on was because I wanted to get out of debt. The biggest debt I had back then was my car, and there were small other things that I needed to get out of the way. And the reason I did this was because I knew that I am going to quit my job at some point. So the best thing for me to do is to get out of debt, so that when I start selling, when I start promoting my services and my digital products, it's not from a place of desperation. I'm not selling you thinking, "If you don't buy this thing, I'm going to starve." But I really wanted to make sure that I sell from a place of integrity, knowing that I'm selling to people what they need, what I believe will change their lives, what I believe will make a difference in their careers. And it's not because I need to eat, I'm gonna starve, I'm gonna lose my car, I'm gonna get kicked out of my house. I wanted to make sure that I'm selling from a place of integrity, for people, or to people who actually need what I have to offer, and not because I was looking out for myself or trying to cover my butt. Okay. Number three, I realized this late. I realized this closer to the time when I was about to quit my job, and when I started receiving information that was very disturbing. What happened is that I started discovering the cracks and flaws in the corporate system long enough to develop a solution. So, very recently, you may have heard me talking about transitioning my business model to one that's, number one, more lucrative, number two, more impactful, and can reach more people than just me working with one-on-ones, or packaging it in my own group coaching program, right? What happened when I was about to leave? And here's the thing: you start by hearing the impression, kancane, kancane, little by little. It says, "Leave, go, it's time." And then it gets louder and louder and louder. And for me, it was getting louder and louder and louder, closer to my time of leaving. But what happened was that because I was trying to make certain shifts and transitions and changes within corporates, it helped me really. I stayed on long enough to realize the cracks and the flaws that I have now come to ideate solutions for. Now it's easy for me to go into these corporates to highlight a problem that I know they're experiencing, however small or however big the corporation, but not just highlighting those problems, but also giving them solutions because I have been through the process and I know exactly how it works. I've got this framework, the signature methodology that I can now share with these corporations. And finally, which I think will be the crux of our conversation today. The reason I stayed on was because I wanted to answer one question for myself and answer it with utmost honesty. And the question was, do I want to quit my job because it's the trendy thing to do? I remember getting on a call with someone I know, and I was just really talking about my decision, right? Because I always said I'm not gonna be at the bank for long. I'm not gonna be in corporate for longer than X amount, like X updates, right? But then when we had the conversation, I was saying, I'm actually wondering the genuineness and the actual drive of me quitting my job. Is it because it's a trendy thing to do? And let me put it in context. If you've got an American coach or a coach from the UK or wherever, you will know that they are very big on entrepreneurship. They are very big on ditching the cubicle. They are very big on entrepreneurship and doing your own thing, right? And I had an American coach. I've had 3 American coaches in the 5 years that I've been in corporate, 5, 6 years that I've been in corporate. And because they're so big on that, and it works out for them almost instantly because they are, especially in my industry, they are used to the idea of coaching. Public speaking or professional speaking is a big thing back there. So it's very easy and trendy for them to quit their jobs on a whim and they can make money. Their economy is slightly better than ours, right? So that was the first thing. The second thing, I was noticing so many shifts and so much change in the corporate landscape because people were actually quitting their jobs. You will realize or you'll remember that at the beginning of 2020, thick in 2021, and it's sort of like subsided, but it's still a thing. 2022 and 2023 is the great resignation, where people realize that, you know what, life is too short to be stuck in doing something that bores you, that drains the life out of you, something that does not inspire you or anyone around you for that matter. So people were dropping out of corporate like flies because they'd come to realize that if everyone's going to die around them, because people were dying during this pandemic, if everyone's going to die around them and if they're going to die as well, they might as well die doing something they loved. Because what they realize is I can no longer wait until I'm 60 to enjoy life. This is the time to enjoy life. And so they were quitting their jobs either for their mental health or because they'd realized that they'd rather do something else and they'd rather try to make something else work. The reason I got so many clients in that year was because people were like, I can't die during this. I actually need to discover what it is. I realize now that the gap I have is not just the gap of more money or whatever, because people were saving money, right? They weren't driving to work. So they were saving those coins, but even those coins were not giving them satisfaction. They realized there's more to life than what is happening and they wanted that. So I had to answer myself very honestly and very like exceptionally rawly, right? I had to ask Mpumi, is it because it's trendy that people are leaving their jobs that you now suddenly want to leave your job as well? And this is what brings me to what is the worst advice I've ever heard being given to professionals. And I hate that it's still being done to this day. The worst advice is follow the trend. You've probably heard it. I am a speaker and I get invited to numerous places, right? And often when I get invited, especially to conversations with young people still in school or still in varsity, I'm always asked, Mpumi, please help with career guidance so that these young people can choose jobs that are in, jobs that are trendy, jobs that are the thing now that they should be going into. I hate this advice so much because it is very misleading. And you might have heard that tech is now the thing that's booming. So everyone now wants to rush into tech. You hear AI, everyone now wants to rush into AI. Robotics, people want to rush into things that are trendy. And that is such bad advice. Here is the best advice. Here is what I want to give you now that I never want you to forget, okay? Don't follow the trend. Rather, follow the trend. I'll say that again. Don't follow the trend. Rather, follow the trend. So trend is Trend. Trend is Tend. What is a trend? A trend is anything that is a fashion or anything that is in vogue. You know, Vogue magazine, right? The word Vogue actually means in style, in trend, current, hip and happening. And so my advice is don't follow the trend, follow the trend. And what a trend is to move, direct, or develop one's course in a particular direction. I'm going to read that again because there are two phrases, two words there that I want us to pay extra attention to. Tend or to tend is to move or direct or develop one's course in a particular direction. The thing about trend is that it is there and people follow it. It is not a unique thing. It is not a bespoke thing. It is something that everybody is doing for some particular reason. But when we talk about a trend, we are talking about a direction for one's course. A trend is a direction for you, not the masses, not the crowd, but you. And when I actually looked up the word 10, you know, I love words. I live on words. I'm just like, oh, I geek over definitions and synonyms and all of those things. I absolutely love words. They just make my brain. So the archaic definition or an archaic word for tend is actually listen. Did you hear that? Tend, the archaic definition or the archaic word is listen. And the obsolete word, a word that's no longer used but has profound and a similar meaning, is await. So when we talk about a trend, we are talking about there's a buzz, there is a mayhem, and everybody is following a direction. But when we talk about trend, we're talking about something that forces you to lean in and listen. Something that, while everybody else is following the trend and going in one direction, will cause or lead for you to await. Why? Because the path is not wide for everyone to walk into it. The path is narrow, it's bespoke, and it's calling to you. It is your particular course. So when we talk about making any career move or making any career decision, I don't want you to follow the trend. I want you to follow the trend. And here's why it's important to rather follow the trend than follow the trend. Number one, fulfillment. I have done this work long enough to know that at the heart of it, every professional wants at least one thing from their career, and that is fulfillment. People want work that fills them up. People want work that they are excited to wake up to every morning. People want work that will, at the end of the day, leave them feeling like, I've done something that matters. I've changed someone's life. I've done something that excites me. And so if you followed previous episodes, you know that when I talk about fulfillment, the irony about that is you cannot be fully filled if you are not fully filling. And what I mean by this is if what you have to give to the world, you are not fully filling the world with, you will never be fulfilled. And what following the trend, that is your particular cause, because you've leaned in and you've listened closely, because you've paid attention and you waited for the appointed time, that you will know what will fulfill you. Whereas with the trends change all the time. Trends change because of how frequently they change. they lose relevance very quickly. And so if you follow the trend, you will be following suit, and they're saying, yeah, this is the way to go, and you go there, and it loses relevance. You will wait for the next trend and wait for the next trend. To what end? Guys, did you hear that rhyme? Okay, sorry. But that's the thing, right? The first thing is fulfillment. When you follow the trend, you will get the thing that fully fills you because you are fully filling. But with trend, it will change ever so often. It will lose its relevance very quickly, and you will lose your relevance because what should we do with you now? What are we going to do with your skills now because you follow the trend? Second thing, expertise. When you are following your trend, you realize that whatever skills you acquire, or whatever skills you use, whatever is built in you naturally, because that's the thing with our purpose, right? It is naturally built within us, but also the path that you follow to then acquire more skills, you can transfer those skills as you evolve. So as you grow, as you realize new things, you are able to transfer those skills because they are universal for whatever season that you're going to be. Whereas with the trend, your expertise actually becomes shallow, or you develop shallow expertise because it's ever so changing, and it's ever so like frequently and rapidly becoming different now and again. You realize that as you acquire knowledge, you acquire surface level, because at the moment where you want to go deep, there's a new trend and you want to follow that, and then you want to learn those skills as well, and the trend changes. So you realize that you only get knowledge and skills at surface level, so your expertise becomes shallow. You never dwell deeply enough, or you never are rooted deeply enough for you to actually have expertise that are significant, that have stood the test of time, and expertise that are going to be transformational. Because you grab here and there and there and there and there, you've really got nothing to offer the market, nothing to offer the world. Number 3, job security. And this is so interesting, because the fallacy we get whenever we're introduced to a trend is that go there because it's more lucrative, go to tech because everything is technology now, and so in tech you'll never be out of a job. I'm pretty sure that's what they said about what industry was booming way back when. I don't even know, but that's what was said, right? That's probably what Blockbusters thought. Blockbusters said, we are going to sell out DVDs. We are going to book out DVDs every week. You bring back the DVD after. And they had an opportunity to acquire Netflix. And Blockbuster said, no, we are not going to acquire Netflix. And Netflix said, okay, we'll do our thing. And what did Netflix do? It drove Blockbusters out of business, because I don't have to go book or hire a DVD. I can just sit at home on demand, at my own pace, in my own time, watch whatever I want to watch. So you're busy following trends. Following trend, you realize that your job becomes susceptible to market fluctuations. When the market wants to do this, it will do that. And if the upturning of a market or the downturn of a market leaves your career or your job in disrepute or in jeopardy, you've got nothing, you can do nothing about it, right? What also happens is that trends normally conform, or careers that are based on trends normally conform to established norms, which then limits your creativity, because this is the norm. This is how we do things. So you can't apply yourself outside of that. This is how we do things, and this is how you're going to have to do things until doing that thing is no longer relevant. We know, like all these algorithms on social media. At first on Instagram, you could just post a picture and hundreds of people would like it. Now you're posting a picture and 12 people are liking, and they tell you you need to start doing reels. You do reels, and then they tell you, now we're done with that. Here's the new thing. You do, every time you keep hopping on a trend, it changes. And this is the frustrating thing, right? So if you think hopping on trends will give you job security, you are very mistaken, because your job will be lost just as quickly as the market fluctuates. But when you follow a trend, you realize that that trend will never lead you astray. What it does is that whichever direction it will take you, not based on a trend, but based on relevance, based on need, is that you will always be innovative and creative. It gives you room to play. It gives you room to be as imaginative, to be as innovative, to be as creative as you want to be. You literally have creative rights when you follow a trend, when you follow something that is uniquely designed for you and a path that is uniquely created and carved out for you. As well as this, you realize that you can add value whether you have a job or not. The beautiful thing I love about listening to the trend and obeying that trend is that if you get fired, the value is in you. You know that you can add value, and as a result demand value. You realize that you are the asset. The mind is there and you can do with it whatever, because you realize a problem and you have the capacity. You've built the expertise to solve that problem. You don't care if you have a job or not. You can create your own job. Heck, you can even create jobs for other people. Okay, the fourth thing is direction. When you follow a trend, you always know when to evolve. I always talk about the fact that our purpose is one. It never changes. But what it does do is evolve based on the relevance of the season, based on how you need to present, based on where you are and what is required. When you follow the trend, you know when it is time to evolve. I knew when it was time to evolve from one-on-one to group coaching. And now I know that it's time to evolve into taking my blueprint to corporates. And if I do work with one-on-ones, it will just be VIP days where, because I realize the nature of my customers or the nature of my clients, they are really ambitious people who want to get the information and run with it. So oftentimes the program is a bit of a tricky thing because it is over a long period of time and there's a lot of work to do. My clients, or people who come to me now, are people who have really done so well in their careers that now they're just like, I just want to pivot. So give me the strategy, give me the game plan, let me plug and play. Even if we do it over one day and I do it, when I leave there, I know exactly what to do and I can prove my career, give me that. So I'm also ideating and thinking around packaging my offer into a VIP day where it is high value, where it is high impact. It's like it gives you what you need and you're off. So that's how I'm evolving now. Also taking my blueprints into corporates, and you know when to evolve. You know when it's time to evolve, and you're not being taken by fads or trends or mass hysteria. Whereas with the trend, you jump from one trend to another to another. And what happens then is you never get to build a meaningful long-term career path, because wherever the wind blows, you blow with it. You don't give yourself enough time to settle, to learn, and then to evolve. The last thing is resilience. When you follow the trend, what happens is that your purpose or that trend carries you through setbacks and uncertain times. So when things get tricky and rough, your first thought isn't, I knew this thing isn't going to work. You know that the purpose is going to work. You know that the path is going to work, even if certain initiatives don't work and certain setbacks are thrown in your direction. But when you follow the trend, you struggle to adapt in challenging times because you haven't built that resilience. When things change, you change with them. And we're not even talking about agility or adaptability. We're really talking about when something booms, when there's a boom or when there's something that comes up, you immediately rush to that thing and you don't take the time to think, is it for me? And does it align to what I've been created and designed to do? And so the crux of the conversation today is the best career advice you will ever be given in your life is do not follow the trend, rather follow the trend. Okay. Now, for somebody, because I know my people are very curious. If you're anything like me, you're very curious and your mind says, okay, but what is this trend? How do I know that I'm hearing this trend? How will I hear it? How will I know that I need to make the next step? And okay, I'm a Christian girl, right? I'm a Christian woman. And my trend for me, let me see you, Andile Uti. Hello, Viti. Hi. Once a Viti, always a Viti. The trend for me, I know comes from God, right? I'm a Christian. But you get people who are pantheists, who believe in the universe, right? And for them, they'll say, oh, the universe is signaling me in some direction. They'll think about something and see 11, 11. 22, 22, and they're like, that is the one. You also get people who are agnostic, right? Agnostic people are going to tell you, no, I just feel it in my guts. I've just got this intuition that this is how I need to go. And then you get atheists, people who don't believe in God or a higher power or whatever. Then they will tell you that it was just the logical thing for me to do. So I believe that the source is God, but depending on which category you fall under, the 10 can come from your intuition, your knowledge, the universe, or wherever. And I'm not going to be prescriptive because the 10 is the 10. And I know this because everyone who feels, who experiences, or hears the 10 will tell you that they've heard it in these different ways. So if you're like me and you're like, tell me, how will I know that I'm hearing it? How will I know that it's time? What will the 10 feel like? Here's what it will feel like. And I wrote here 10 things. Guys, you're spoiled for choice. You might either feel all these 10 things or one or two, but this is what the 10 will feel like or sound like or take you through. This is what it will take you through, right? Number one, if you experience or you're feeling persistent dissatisfaction. So you're constantly unhappy, unfulfilled, or anxious about your current job, that is the 10 knocking, that is the 10 whispering, that is the 10 tapping, that is the 10 waving, that is the 10 blowing. That is the 10. A persistent dissatisfaction. You are at work, or you think about work, or you're driving to work. You are annoyed by your clients and your customers. You are annoyed by your team. You are annoyed by your spreadsheet. You are annoyed by everything that's got to do with the job. That's the 10. Secondly, it can also feel or sound or come as a yearning for something more. You know, when that nagging feeling you get, or the idea that there must be something more, or there must be more to your professional life than what you're currently experiencing. That's the 10. Number 3, the 10 can come in the form of envy or inspiration. I hate to admit it, but the 10 has at some point come to me as envy. This is when you see others who are passionately pursuing their professional purpose, and you're either inspired or you envy them. Guys, there was a point and a time where I had to unfollow people's social media. I had to unfollow people on social media because envy would kill me. I'd be like, I know I should be doing that. I would look at them being so happy and say, I can do that, if not better than them. Ooh, I know. Crucify me. But envy hit me so hard. And I realized, man, this is the 10. The 10. Usandi Siwenyas, he's saying the 10 has been haunting me for years now. Girl, we need to talk. We need to talk. Okay, the fourth thing is experiencing health issues. When you are presenting or always presenting with these stress related problems like anxiety or even physical ailments. I read a book called The Big Leap, and I think it was by Gay Hendricks. And in this book, he talks about diseases of unfulfillment. You are not even you are constantly fatigued. You sleep, but sleep is never enough. There are never enough hours in the night to give you the rest that you need. Every little while you've got flu or something is happening with your body. Your sinuses are reacting even when the season is not changing. You've got headaches, you've got heart issues. Those diseases of unfulfillment, the 10 is like, hello, hi, hello. The fifth thing, loss of motivation. And a lot of people present with these, right? Loss of motivation. Here, you're just actively disengaged at work. You couldn't be bothered by KPIs. You're just, you're going through the motions. You are just doing what you need to do. You're not excited. You just are not motivated. Let me tell you something, and I'm not justifying you or making you feel like, yo, at least you won. I want you to know that 77% of the globe's workers. So if there were 1 billion workers in the world, 77% of them are disengaged at work. Let me narrow it down or simplify it for you. 8 out of 10 people, if we had to put 10 professionals in front, in a row, 2 of them are engaged at work. And engaged doesn't always mean they are living out their purpose, but at least they are engaged. They are doing well, they are thriving, and they are just having a good time. 8 of those people, because 77% rounded up, 8 of those people are either loud quitting, they are sabotaging themselves, sabotaging their teams, sabotaging their organizations, really creating a mess, or quiet quitting. They are just done excelling and shooting the lights out. They are looking for jobs somewhere. They are resigned. In their mind, they are resigned, but they still want the paycheck and they are looking around. 77% of people. So you're in good okay, not in good company. It's not nice company to be in. You have company. If you feel that you're disengaged at work, you've lost motivation, the next opportunity that presents itself, you would jump on it. The sixth thing, recurring thoughts of change. You are daydreaming about an alternative career path. You are fantasizing about doing something different. That is the tent gently letting you know that something needs to change, that you have a different path to pursue. That is the trend. Oh, not the trend. That is the trend. I love singing, can you tell? Okay. Number 7, coincidences and opportunities. Here, you are experiencing serendipitous events or opportunities in your areas of passions or interests. Out of nowhere, it just seems like you're getting opportunities, or you're somehow finding yourself doing the things that you love, or being given opportunities to do the things that you love. That is the 10 trying to give you a glimpse of your future. Guys, I should have been. We have a story for you. What show was that when I was a kid? Okay, whatever. Let's say it was Fundani Nati. Fundani Nati. Ooh, okay. I'm losing track. So this 10 is telling you, is showing you this is a potential path. Do you like it here? Can we camp here? Is this something we could be doing? But if you're not listening, if you're not paying attention, you will not even hear that the 10 is trying to introduce you to the path that you should take. Number 8, deep self-reflection. If you're in a place or position, and it doesn't even matter what time of the year it is, where you are questioning your values, your goals, and what truly matters in life, what truly matters to you, you then might be coming to a realization that you're out of purpose. You are thinking to yourself, my values and my goals, I can see them, but it's blurry because where I am is not going to take me to where I want to be. That is a 10, like really knocking at your heart, saying, you're not fully filling. That's why you're not fulfilled. Number 9, and this is the second last one, is a supportive network. And this can come across in one of 2 ways, right? You have mentors or people who know you really well, and they are noticing how unhappy you are, and they keep asking, is everything okay? Are you sure? You're very downcast and unhappy. What's going on? This could literally be, now it's not even inaudible or something that's happening or tugging at your heart. It's God sending, God or the universe or your logic or intuition or whatever, sending you people to make you notice and to bring out of your subconscious into your conscious that something is amiss, something is wrong. But secondly, the supportive network could be people who are seeing you in your element, doing work that you love or doing things that you love. Maybe you haven't even attached them to work yet, and they're encouraging you, and they're giving you feedback, and they are affirming your gift. When you find people that are speaking very positively or speaking life into something that you're doing well, that is a physical representation of a tent that is pushing you or trying to pull you into the direction you're supposed to be going into. And finally, positive signs from initial steps. So if you find yourself taking small steps, but it's small successful steps of what is possible, If you get sold out to your purpose, that is the 10 saying you, it's safe. It's all right. Come. Keep walking. Keep taking one step after the other. I was talking to someone over the weekend who's interested in a program that I'm running, and they were talking to me about how they have already started their business and it's making money, but they're scared to make the jump. And I say to them, why are you scared to make the jump? Because your small steps are showing you that if you took bigger steps, if you got sold out to this thing, it could work even better. Right now, you're giving it little attention, little time, little creativity, little bandwidth in your mind. But if you gave it your all, would that thing not in turn give you all that you're looking for in terms of fulfillment, in terms of impact, in terms of money? Those little successful steps are telling you that if you just keep walking, if you are just confident enough to take bigger leaps and bigger jumps, you will be okay. That is the 10 gently giving you a visual representation of what is possible. I'm going to run through these again. I won't elaborate on them, but I just want to remind you. You know that you are experiencing a tent or you're being called to something if these things are happening. You have a persistent dissatisfaction with your current job. Number 2, there is a yearning for something more within you. Number 3, you are experiencing envy or inspiration when you see others operating in their purpose and their passion. You're experiencing diseases of unfulfillment, health issues, loss of motivation, recurring thoughts of change, coincidences and opportunities, deep self-reflection that makes you realize that your goals and your values will never be fulfilled in the place that you're currently at. We've got a supportive network that is signaling to you that something is wrong, but also when you are shining in your strengths and your gifts, encouraging and affirming those things in you. And finally, when you are seeing positive signs from the initial steps that you're taking. This is how you know that you are being called for more and being called for deeper. Again, my message, the crux of my message today is do not follow the trend when making your career decisions. Do not follow the trend. Rather, follow the tent. Listen, wait, then execute. But following the tent does not mean being passive and saying, okay, what needs to happen now? And then you're given the first step and you're like, by faith. Faith is the substance of the... No. When you see the tent, you then start to follow. The tent for me in the beginning was, here's a blueprint. You've been crying and searching and waiting for your purpose. Here's the blueprint. And I had to follow this blueprint step by step, by step, by step, by step. And in 3 years, the blueprints led me out of my corporate job. I'm still following the blueprints. I'm still following the tent. But the tent is not a passive thing. It's not a thing that you listen and hope for some miracle to happen. It requires your cooperation as well. So when thinking about making a pivot or where your career should go next, when thinking about issues of aligning your purpose to your profession, it's not the trend that you need to follow. It's the tent. I've got exciting news for you. So I am hosting my very first live workshop. And by live workshop, I mean you are going to be in the same room as me, and we are going to be workshopping the topic. Drum roll, please. That is so ineffective. I'm beating at my computer. The name of the workshop is Beyond the Resume, Finding Your Professional Purpose. If you remember correctly, there was a survey that I put out asking for people to help me choose the name of a course. And 2 names came up. The one I assigned to the course, and the other was like, I know there's something more and better that I can do with this topic. And the topic was Beyond the Resume, finding your professional purpose. I am inviting all professionals who are serious, not curious. People who are curious go to events, those yearly events, all those events that you know are coming. Curious people go to events because they want to hear what other people are doing. They want to be motivated and inspired, and they do nothing with that information. Serious people attend workshops because there's little talk and immediate action. I'm inviting professionals into a room where we will spend a full day. Yes, you will have food. Yes, you'll be given snacks in between, but we are going to be working. Here are the outcomes of this workshop. Number one, you are going to recognize the professional level that you are currently on and create a practical roadmap to get to the highest level of professionals there is. So you're going to recognize, well, see, this is where I am. I'm on step 1 or 2 or 3. And once you've recognized that, you are going to create a roadmap. We are going to create it there together for you to move from this level to this level of income to that level of income, this level of impact to that level of impact, this level of operating in your gifts to that level of operating in your gifts. The second outcome is you are going to learn all the traits and behaviors that keep professionals stuck in less than ideal careers so that you can eradicate those behaviors and traits if you are already exhibiting them. We're not playing games. I'm going to introduce you. These are all the traits that keep professionals stuck in jobs they hate, in toxic environments, in careers that are not aligned to their purpose. This is what you need to get rid of. The third outcome then is you will learn and adopt traits that will make you a high earning purpose practitioner. You will know what to do in order to move you from this level to that level. Number 4, we will workshop my signature framework together at a high level. This includes the 3 components that will help you discover your purpose. We will workshop these things. You will not be looking at it on a computer like, oh, nice. No. We'll say component number 1. Now work out, what is this thing for you? What does it mean for you? What are the things you need to be doing? Component number 2, what does it then look like? What are you going to be using in order to be accomplishing this thing? Number 3, all right. The second thing is the 3 steps it takes to then align the purpose you would have discovered to a profession. All those steps and all those components will be workshopping them together. I will be coaching and consulting you on the spot. Finally, you'll get clear on your purpose sweet spot where you will thrive. So the purpose sweet spot is where you are doing what you love in the service of those who love what you do. And that is on the framework, right? We will be workshopping the framework together. And then the 5th objective is that you will walk away with the basic steps to kickstart your professional purpose as soon as the day after the workshop. So after we've workshopped, at the end of it, I'm going to say, now here's what you do on day 1. You need to do this, that, and the other. Check back in with me, or I'll check back in with you to make sure that you have done these things that will put you on the path and on the journey to your professional purpose. Who is this for? I already told you. It's for professionals who are serious, not curious. It's not an event that will have guest speakers and panels and keynote speeches. No. There's going to be very little talking and action. Action. You will be putting things down. You will be realizing things, and you will know what you need to be doing in your career the day after you leave the workshop. It is for people who want a career pivot, people who've been, oh Lord, my purpose, what is it? It's for you. For those who are saying, yo, yes, I want to do this, but 3 months in the program, I don't want to do that. I want strategies right now that I can use. This workshop is for you. When is it going to be? On the 5th of November. So you've only got 4 weeks to sign up. You've got 4 weeks to secure your seats. Now, here's the thing. Workshops are intense. Unlike events where all I can do is talk and go sit down. Workshop, I need to get my hands dirty. I need to get into your business. I need to get into your career. I need to be asking you questions. I need you to be verifying and validating certain things. And so what will happen in the workshop is that I can't afford to have a lot of people. I want to be as close to your problem, as close to your career, as close to what you want to do as possible. And so I can't have a lot of people in the room if I want to give all of you my undivided attention. This is like private school. There are like 6 learners in the class. That's what we're going for. A very elite, a very exclusive, and a very intimate setting so that I can help you very, very intimately and very, very well. 5th of November, it is a Sunday. From 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., we're doing the work together. The venue will be confirmed with attendees only because I'm full also figure up. I don't want you to rock up and you're like, yeah. I don't want you to do that. So 5 November, that is like a month from now. We are getting together. And the reason I'm not giving like long period of time is because, again, I want serious people who know what they want and go for what they want. I don't need to convince you that you need this. You know that you do. And so serious people will come to the party. Well, the party this time will be a workshop. What else did I write here? If you're interested in coming to the workshop, all I want you to do is, if you are watching this on LinkedIn, comment under this video by BTR, Beyond the Resume. Don't write the whole thing out, BTR. If you don't want to put this under the comments, you can just DM me on LinkedIn and say BTR, and I will chat you up. We'll have a little conversation with you. I'll send you the link for you to secure your seat, and then everything else will be communicated to you after that. If you are watching this on YouTube, still comment BTR. But better yet, find me on LinkedIn, Mbonane, or just type Mpumi K, and I'll pop up my gorgeous face where I'm just like, that'll pop up. Send me a DM, comment under this video, whatever, but just let me know that you are interested. Let me know that you're interested by saying BTR. Don't say, hi, miss. Oh, I love your work. And listen, I'm not mocking everyone who does this, right? Because I get so many messages and I love reading them all. But I don't want you to give me long-winded stuff. We've only got a month to secure your seat, and there are very limited seats. So send me BTR, whether in the comment section or in my DMs, and I will make sure. And if you send it on YouTube and you're just writing BTR on YouTube, I will find you on LinkedIn and I will DM you and we'll have that conversation. If you are interested, that's all you need to do. No essay, no speech, just BTR, and I will make sure that you know exactly what we're doing, that you are ready for it. And on the 5th of November, we are coming into a room and workshopping this thing. It is time you go beyond the resume and you find your professional purpose, where you will be fulfilled, where you will have impact, and you will build wealth, starting by making really good money. It was great chatting to you today. I hope to see you tomorrow. I don't know what the topic will be, but we will have a good time discussing whatever it is. Mbonane, your Purpose Alignment Strategist. We'll chat again tomorrow, same time, same place. Cheers.